Not because of what she can do to me, but because she lives what she says. My wife, scariest woman on earth. She's about this short, skinny as, incredibly intelligent. When she looks at me, I can't lie to her. She scares the hell out of me. And why is that? Does she control me? People say, well, you know, Tom, my wife asked me 2 days ago, where are you going now? 2 days ago. She has no idea what I do with my life. So don't think that, you know, when I say my wife scares me, I'm not talking about being a controlling woman or being somebody that wants to know what I'm doing, where I'm going. She has no idea what I do with my life. But what she does give me, I trust her, she trusts me implicitly, and she's a woman of character. 30 years we've been together, and here it is 7 years ago, she goes to me in our brand new house, Tom, I actually am going to have to leave. Not because I don't love you, but because I can't stand the toxic environment that you bring into the house. And the result of her character, not her bickering, not her trying to belittle me. She's saying, listen, I don't know what's going on in your life. You're working through some issues. It's been going on for years, and I've lost my place in terms of the religious faith and all that sort of stuff, working through that dark space. And she looks at me, and she was spot on. As a result of her saying those powerful words, I knew she meant it. She was going to leave, and she should have left. I should have left. Mind you, I should have left, not her. So I said to her, listen, next week I'm going to go into the desert. I'm going to go and try and work it out. I can't fix myself. Really long story short, I go to the desert for a few days. This is how willful Tom is before he bowed down to conscience. I would drive 1,700 kilometres into the desert, and I said to myself, this is how willful you can be when you know, and women are the same, and men are the same. And I said, you know what, I'm going to chase the sun home. That's how willful I was. I'm going to chase the sun home. I'm going to beat nature. And I was driving 1,700 kilometres back to Perth from the middle of the Australian desert. The sun beat me by a long shot, but anyway, that's typical of human nature. We think we can beat life. We think that if we're positive enough, we can just beat everything. I came back as a result of a few months. I started losing a lot of weight, and trying to fix myself could never do it. Trying to fit into a system could never do it. Trying to join another group could never do it. What did it for me was, like I said, my wife was an instigator of me saying, I will not tolerate that. That's called leadership as far as I'm concerned. She influenced me. She agitated me to go and find myself. As a result of her just watching, she stayed. We stayed together. New Year's Day 2010, I had this unusual experience, and let us be as spiritual as we can. I'm at a local beach. I'd already lost 20 kilos, so I got my system in order, my outward system, if you want to call it, my physical discipline in order. That led to something. It led me to be open to a change of heart because I was so serious about making a difference in my own heart. If I can make a difference in your life, I cannot make a difference in your life, no matter how good my intentions are. The only way I can help somebody else or influence somebody else, I've got to make a difference to me first. So as a result of being serious about change, I put myself under a personal pressure. I started walking 2 hours a day. Lost the weight, like that. Forget it, but I just lost it like that. No diet, nothing. But that didn't change me. That was a part of the process. At the beach one day, I'm sitting there right at the front of the beach, and I started thinking, what do I do here? I'm depressed, I'm suicidal, I'm lost. Everyone else in the world thinks I'm doing well because I lost weight. My wife, because she is a very intuitive person, because leadership's about intuition. It's not neither male nor female. Don't get caught up in that. I'm telling you, it's not. Leadership is about intuition, about feeling, about sensing. And she's the only one that is not complimenting me because I lost weight. She's still watching. True leaders will watch. And they'll watch till the end, till the change happens. While everyone else is complimenting me, because a lot of times they're complimenting me, it's very self-serving. Oh, mate, that's great. We're just doing more deals. We're making more money. You know, it's great that you're changing outwardly. At the beach that day, and I'll close off with this because I can go on, but this is the crux of what I believe leadership is. At the beach that day, I was so lost that if something didn't change that day, I actually don't know what I would have done to myself. I was in a very dark place for years. I was suicidal. I came to a place where something has to change. And this impression came on me. I can give you the long version one day, but this is the short version. I had these words come to my mind: before you were born, I knew you. Before you came into the world and you made your mum smile and you reacted to that smile, I must be a good child because my mother's smiling at me. Or if my mother, stop that, I must be a bad child because my mother smacked me. Or my father. When I go into school and the teacher would say, you know, stop that, I must be a bad child because somehow that teacher is angry at me. I must be a good child because I've got a good report. I never really got good reports ever, so I was never a good child. I must be a bad child. And so you go backwards and forwards where you're defining yourself as a good person or a bad person. This day at the beach, I had this thought come to me: before you were born, I actually knew you. You were complete. You were whole. You have nothing to prove to anyone. You are a complete human being. And this revelation, this insight, this experience, it was neither, now it's no longer good or bad. It's, am I a healthy person or an unhealthy person? Well, I was an unhealthy person that day. And I had this revelation that I could be open to this, and I am complete. I am healthy as of today. Why? Because I'm Tom Smilovidis. I'm unique. Why? Not because of anything I've ever achieved. Not because I raised a family or married or whatever. Just because I'm Tom Smilovidis. Same as you. You are unique. If you ever come to recognize who you really are, you're neither good nor bad. You're either healthy or unhealthy. The moment you get healthy, you produce. The moment you're unhealthy, you don't produce. And so then the difference between templates, the difference between, to me, systems and the way the world projects things is, this is the new entity that we have now. It's called Pharos, which is simply be a refuge to people, build them up, and release them. As opposed to systems that say, let's recruit, let's build them up, and let's use their now new nature to recruit more. I have no interest in anyone following me. You cannot even join me. I'm a part of nothing, yet I'm a part of everything. As a result of that, I started these different groups. My son and I, we have an orphanage in Nellore where we look after 60 children. They look like they go to private schools. This is the best orphanage you'll see in the world, I'm telling you. And why I'm encouraged is because these children are not going to look like orphans, they're not going to feel like orphans, because we want them to have a future. I have a passion for women and empowering women in all sorts of arenas, going to prisons and that. Motivation Club, it's a club that I've started, which you can be a part of it, but you can never join it. It's empowering young business people. Run for a Friend's about empowering young people to pause in life if they feel like committing suicide. And it's about fitness, and I do a lot of running and empower people. Temple 12 is my program. And Indigenous people and prisons is where I'm at. All those are grassroots problems. If you really want to make a difference in the world, don't go to the top, start at the bottom.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a very nice, I would not like to use the word speech, beautiful presentation, full of energy, talking about leadership of a different kind, and so have you said about leadership of a different kind. We are talking about leadership in certain spheres here, but while I was pondering in the morning, I thought, what is it that I should approach? I will give you a very brief background about myself because there has been no introduction. My name is Sushmita Shekhar. I started my career in advertising and journalism, left it to join Sulabh International, one of the biggest NGOs. I was the senior vice president there, worked with the UN Task Force for Water and Sanitation, established my organization but went back into the corporate, headed PhD Chamber of Commerce as the Secretary General. But then I decided to leave and put all my energy into the foundation which I had created, because I felt that if I don't have the conviction in my own organization, which works with the have-nots, how do I expect anybody else to join it and take it off? So since the last 3 years, I left what I was doing, and I'm fully into my own organization. Having said that, I thought let us talk about Gita, the epic Mahabharata, which many of you would know, and people all over the world quote it, and I'm sure those who are not very familiar with this would have heard of Krishna, Lord Krishna, who in the Indian religion, amongst Hindus and otherwise, is considered to be one of the biggest philosophers and leaders. He was God himself, as we believe. I was reading this book which is called Timeless Leadership, and it quotes, during this big war of Mahabharata, where Arjun is sitting on the chariot ready to fight in Kurukshetra, very close to Delhi, and the Lord himself is his driver. He is sitting on the chariot, driving the chariot. He drives into the middle of the war, and Arjun looks at the people around him, his own uncles, his own relatives, his teachers, and he says, I can't do this. I can't fight my own. How can I do this? And he leaves his own arrow and he says, I will not fight this war. And Krishna, in that pregnant silence, Krishna speaks. And that is what Gita is all about. That is what the philosophy of humanity, philosophy of leadership is all about. And this philosophy is timeless. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a few excerpts of what he had said, and we'll bring it down to how important it is even today, in today's world of economics, of the changes, of the slides in economy and everything else. He tells him that a true leader is a person who fights the war in his mind first. Every war starts in the mind, it's not on the field. So it is important that you as the leader of the Pandavas, you as the person who is leading the war from the other side, should fight this war inside your mind and decide whether what you're doing is right or what you're doing is wrong. So ladies and gentlemen, even today, when we stand in a country or we stand in our offices or in our organizations, the first war of objectivity has to come from within in your mind. If you are clear, if you are unbiased, if you know that what you're saying is the truth, you will fight whoever is to be fought, even if the person is your own father. Because you're not fighting the father, you're not fighting the person, you're fighting the philosophy, you're fighting an idea, you're fighting something which is important, which is an universal truth. So what Krishna told Arjun, that you're not fighting your relatives, you're not fighting your teachers, but you're fighting for the truth, and that is what is important. This was the first lesson of time.